Hello, how's everyone doing today? What I guess I want to talk about today are some things which are currently legal but violate the NAP, the non-aggression principle, and uh, the response is, that means it should be against the law and government should prohibit it. So, for example, there are certain libertarians, such as myself, who say that abortion and circumcision uh, violate the non-aggression principle. Abortion is not a victimless crime. It violates the rights of the fetus, and circumcision, not that you voluntarily give to yourself, but circumcision that you give to a baby outside of the rare case of health risks, uh, is an act of aggression. It's not your penis, and if you do it outside of health uh, risks, then you're committing an act of aggression. Uh, and yet both these things are currently legal. So the response should be, well, in the current world we live in, uh, not a polycentric legal system, but government law, should these things uh, be against the law? And my response is no. Everything that is currently legal should remain legal. We laws, not create new ones. We have enough people in prison. We have enough of a police state. We have enough of incarceration, and government does not solve the problem. Even in circumstances force is justified, not by government it ain't. Government use of force is excessive, and it doesn't solve the problem. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If hypothetically murder was legal, and the only way to stop murder was by having a government, murder should remain legal, because it's better to have the occasional sporadic murder done by private citizens than the systematic, constant, institutionalized, far more violent done by the state. I would rather have the occasional murder than the genocide and the violent bloodshed of government. So I think it's better to tolerate a few violent abuses than to have government where they will create way more abuse. I mean, government doesn't solve problems. Take 9/11, right? 3,000 people lost their lives. And how did government attempt to react to this issue? In a manner which was, quite frankly, insane. They ramped up the police state, which just increases the odds of being killed by cops. They enacted the NDAA and the Patriot Act, which severely curtailed people's liberties. They had TSA security, which increases the price of airplanes tickets, and because airplane tickets have increased in price, fewer people are now using airplanes and are finding alternative means of travel where the odds of dying and getting into an accident are far greater. So, and not to mention the millions of innocent Iraqis killed in a war and the thousands of Americans' lives lost. So, government's attempt to, if your foot's asleep, government decides to solve this problem by chopping it off. So, I don't think that government intervention is justified under any circumstances, even to combat violence. Let the market do that. Let private individuals do that, not the state. And so I would argue under a polycentric legal system, as always, it's up to the victim to press charges. So if a person was circumcised by their parents and when they're older they want to press charges, they probably have that right to do so. But, my parents circumcised me. I was born a Jew, and I wish they would have asked me first. Sort of a sign of respect. But I forgive them. I would not incarcerate them, and I would be pissed if the government did. So I don't support these things being illegal. I don't think it's a contradiction to say things are wrong. If you do them, I don't think you're a particularly good libertarian. And that's the point, right? I think saying abortion or circumcision violates the non-aggression principle is an attempt to say, look, these things are coercive, and as people who are against coercion, we should not engage in them. But we also understand that government, using government as a way to cure evil comes at great, great cost. I forgot the name of the guy who said it, who said, it's the biggest, one of the biggest delusions in the world is that the evils can be cured for legislation. So while abortion and circumcision and other things may be legal, while at least while we have a state, they should remain legal, because government enforcement is not the answer. The penalties are excessive. It creates unintended consequences, and it's just not worth it. We should always be cautious whenever we advocate government to solve anything. And so, I guess in short, there's even when there is coercion, government intervention is never, ever justified under any circumstance. Government is never a way to solve it.